Welcome to another episode of the Leading Life Podcast. I'm your host, Andy Zook, and this is where we say the quiet parts out loud about being better leaders. This is for people who want to lead better with clarity, humility, and purpose. So here we go. Today, right now, we're talking about 10 ways to make your life easier in 2026 because honestly, I believe we make our life harder for ourselves than we realize. You're listening to the Leading Life Podcast where we talk about what it takes to grow, lead, and live with purpose. I'm your host, Andy Zook. You know, I started this podcast because I care deeply about the people who work for us and the leaders responsible for them. So everything I share comes from 35 years of leading, coaching, mentoring, and motivating teams. So if you're leading people or you want to better understand the leaders in your life and how to lead better in your personal life, then this episode will give you simple, real-world tools to help you show up as your best self at work and in life. Bottom line, I help leaders become even stronger leaders. All right, let's get into it. As we step into 2026, heck, we're already in, most people are asking, how do I do more? But I think this episode is going to ask a better question, and that is, how do I make it easier? How do I make my life easier? And let's help create a simpler system for living this year to your fullest potential and yet cut back the things that don't serve you anymore. My definition of a fulfilling life is quite simply putting your energies into things that give you the greatest reward. And you have to decide personally on what that reward is to you. It could be more time to relax. It could be having a body that you're incredibly proud of. It could be more time with your family, more money. It's all up to you. But really, we want to start this year cleaner, calmer, and more intentional. All right, let's get to it. Here are 10 simple ways to make your life easier in 2026, starting right now. All right, number 1, decide once, not daily. Yeah, the fastest way to exhaust yourself is to keep redeciding the same things, and that is what you eat, or how you train, or when you work, or what you will tolerate. So you need to create those defaults because routines reduce friction. Fewer decisions will equal more energy for what matters, and ease comes from structure, not chaos. So for instance, I work out religiously, but I can sabotage my diet on the regular. And I start every year with these great intentions. You know, I'm going to cut back in January, no alcohol. I'm going to eat more salad. I'm going to have more fruits. I'm going to cut back on, my portion size, blah, blah, blah. But then February comes along, March comes along, and I'm right back to it. Bottom line, there is no excuse for it. I keep making the same excuses year after year. So this year I've made a commitment to losing that 20 pounds I've put on and keep it off once and for all. So for you, I want you to do the same thing. It's not hard once you commit. I mean, think about it this way. Whatever your goal is, you decide today, if someone offered you $1 million to shed 20 pounds, like my example, in 2026, would you do it? Yeah, of course you would. Yeah, the answer is a no-brainer. So think about it this way. Make a decision and stick with it. All right, number 2, explaining yourself to the wrong people. You don't owe anyone clarity. You don't owe everyone access. Over-explaining is usually a sign of self-doubt, not kindness. So in 2026, I want you to say less and mean more. Let your consistency speak for you. Your life will get easier when you stop auditioning for approval. You don't owe anyone a reason for why the way you are and what you do. And by all means, keep your plans to yourself. Don't share with anyone the moves you're making. You don't owe them that explanation. And most people are frankly not always cheering you on. So this year, I'm going to make one of the biggest decisions. Actually, I'm going to make 2 of the biggest decisions of my life. And I know it's going to be from a lot of people around me like, whoa, are you sure you want to do this? But you know what? I don't care. I know what I'm doing and I don't owe anybody an explanation. So I want the same for you. Keep that in mind. All right, number 3, remove one draining relationship. This one's uncomfortable, but it's so powerful if you think about it. If someone is consistently leaving you feeling depleted, or you have that negative vibe after you talk to them, or they pull you backwards, or they keep bringing up old patterns, they're just taxing your nervous system. You don't need drama, you need distance, because peace is productive. Cut out the people that drain your goodness and your good energy, period. I've had to do it myself. It's not always easy, but it just needs to happen because they're just holding you back from what you want to do. And sometimes one of the quickest and easiest moves you can make in this area without just cutting someone off in real life is just removing the negativity on social media. That's a simple way to start that, but just remove one draining relationship. Okay, number 4, build recovery into your week. Yeah, most people don't burn out from work. They burn out from never really recovering. So if you don't schedule rest, your body will force it. So in 2026, I want you to sleep like it matters. Walk more, go out for walks, and then unplug yourself without guilt. Ease isn't a weakness, it's sustainability. Trust me, sleep is everything. So make sure you get 7 to 8 hours every night. Consistently getting less is linked to chronic health issues, including obesity, diabetes, high blood pressure, heart disease, stroke, and even depression. So doctors emphasize that sleep quality is as important as duration. So restless or fragmented sleep is less restorative and can leave you feeling tired even if you log enough hours. So some individuals may require 9 hours to feel refreshed, but a lot can function optimally on 7 hours or less. So if you frequently feel tired during the day or rely heavily on caffeine to stay alert, you most likely need more sleep. So schedule your rest, schedule your recovery. I will tell you that at one time in my career where I was at the most stressed and I had the most coming at me from so many directions, it would keep me up at night. So I had this ritual of before I went to bed, I would say, this is my time. I need to shut off everything external. So let me just get into a dream state and have that peace and rest. This is my time. So that may work for you. Just say that to yourself before you go to bed. This is my time. Build recovery into your week. All right. Number 5, simplify your goals. Yeah. Too many goals is just going to equal failure down the road. So pick one health goal, one relationship goal, one growth goal, and everything else is just noise. Progress feels easier when your focus is narrow and intentional. So one health goal is to add more fruit into your daily diet, or one relationship goal could be sharing one or more of your hobbies with your partner. Or one growth goal could be learning a new skill like public speaking. So just pick one goal in each area, maximum 3 to 5. Don't go into the new year with 10 different things you're never going to get to. All right, number 6, stop fighting reality. Yeah, this is a big one. Energy is wasted arguing with what already is your job, the season, the body, the timing. Acceptance isn't surrender, it's leverage. So life gets easier when you work with reality instead of resenting it. And you know what? The best thing you can do is just face yourself in the mirror. And I don't mean just a real mirror, but I just take a hard look at yourself and reflect on your actions throughout the day. How you want to represent yourself, where you currently are, what can you change? And you know what? Your closest friends that you deeply trust can also be a great source of feedback. I have a close friend that we constantly bounce feedback between each other. Hey, what's one thing do you think I could focus on better? What's one thing you think is holding me back? When you have a friend like that you can trust, it's a great source in helping you implement change that you need. And I'm going to tell you that a great AI prompt, let's say you have ChatGTP or something you're using that knows you a little bit from feedback already, is ask ChatGTP or your AI platform and say, hey, what is some brutal, honest feedback that you get from your conversations with me? I know it sounds a little crazy, but I'll tell you what. If your AI knows you pretty well, it can give you some really insightful pieces. I know I have used it, and it's been helpful for me. So let's go to number 7. Say no faster. Yeah, hesitation creates pressure. So when you know the answer is no, say it kindly and early. Delayed no's turn into resentment, overwhelm, and burnout. Your calendar should reflect your priorities, not other people's expectations. There's an optional get-together at work that we had not too long ago. And it was that or some things that I needed to do for myself. So I opted out of the get-together at work. And, it probably raised some eyebrows. I got quite a few texts like, hey, where are you? What's going on? But you know what? I had to prioritize what was good for me at the moment and just say no. So don't be afraid to say no faster to what's going on. You got to take care of you first. And that leads us to number 8, take care of your body like it's a leadership tool. Yeah, I mean, your body isn't separate from your performance. Because if your energy gets low, you're going to have maybe a shorter temper or make bad decisions, or your boundaries will be easier to cross just because your energy's drained. You don't need perfection. You just need a little more consistency. So hydrate, move, go for a walk, get to the gym, lift weights if that helps you breathe. That's one of the basic things to start with every morning, is just some simple breathing exercises. A regulated body makes everything else easier. Number 9, stop replaying old conversations. I will tell you that this has been something that has drained my energy for years, because mentally replaying things like that is just an energy leak. If the moment has passed and no action remains, release it. You can't go back and turn it around, so why are you ruminating about it? In 2026, I want you to reflect once, learn the lesson, and then let it go. Because peace comes from presence, not mental time travel, if you will. I used to do this to myself, like I said, all the time. And then finally one day I'm like, I can't fix that. Like I just said to myself, I can't go back to 1986 and change how I acted in that situation or what I said in that situation. You know, what's funny is I think my words over the years have been more hurtful than my actions. So for a while, I would just go back and replay. But what's the point? Okay, learn the lesson and move forward. All right. And then lastly, number 10, choose depth over volume. Choose fewer commitments, fewer distractions, fewer inputs. More meaning is what you want to add into your life. More connection, more intentional living. Life gets easier when you stop trying to do everything and start doing what actually matters. So focus on these 4 areas that will help. Number 1, deep work. So high value tasks like writing, even coding or problem solving, that creates new value and they're hard to replicate. So spend some time in deep work. Even if it's just your hobby, get yourself involved and engaged into it. Second, social relationships. You want to choose depth over volume in relationships, and that means focusing on building strong, intimate connections with a smaller group than maintaining thousands of surface level or shallow connections. Also, personal growth and fulfillment. Stay focused on more meaningful focus and steer away from shallow concerns that can lead to a worldview dominated by stress and triviality. Stay focused on your personal growth and personal fulfillment. And then lastly, explore creative work. This depth refers to the complexity or multiple layers of meaning in a piece, whereas volume often refers to the physical or illusory 3-dimensional space. Get into some more creative things. I wish I had more time for it, but what I really love to do is write creatively, I should say, be it poetry or, maybe a story that I'm writing. Maybe it's even just a letter to my spouse or to a friend that has some deep meaning to it. Try to get into things that bring out your creative side. That'll really help too. That's along with more intentional living. So let's recap. Decide once, not daily. Stop explaining yourself to the wrong people. Remove one draining relationship this year. Build recovery into your week. That means get some sleep. Number 5, simplify your goals. Stop fighting reality. Say no faster. Take care of your body like it's a leadership tool. Stop replaying those old conversations you can't change. And number 10, choose depth over volume. And this is your leadership edge for this episode. I want you to ask yourself, what's one thing I can remove this year? What's one thing I can just take away from my life that will make things easier? Number 2, where am I overcomplicating my life? And 3, what would my life look like if ease was a strategy and not a reward? I think that's great. Think about that. Ease as a strategy. And here's your call to arms for this episode. An easier life doesn't come from luck. It comes from cleaner decisions. It comes from you making stronger boundaries or holding stronger boundaries, and then ultimately better self-respect. That's something that I have focused on and has helped me a lot. 2026 doesn't need to be louder. It just needs to be a little bit lighter. I know on another episode we made a life list for 2026, and I'm not going to forget about that. So if you're doing that with me, I want to ask you, how is that going? And what's one thing on that list you can move the needle on this month alone in January, if you're still listening to this episode in January 2026? What's one thing you can move the needle on? What's one thing you can accomplish on that 10-item life list? All right, so that's my episode, and I hope this impacted you for the better. And if it did, please leave me a rating or review on whatever platform you're hearing me on. Please leave me a rating or review so we can get this podcast out. And hit subscribe so you won't miss another episode of the Leading Life Podcast. And if this episode did inspire you, please share it with a leader who needs to hear it, a friend, coworker, family member, your spouse. And remember, the world gets better when we start leading better. Until next time, I want you to lead with purpose, live with intention, and keep on becoming who you are meant to be. But most importantly, go out today and be the hero of somebody's story. Okay? All right, until the next episode, have an awesome week, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks.